Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video, I'm going to be comparing the all-new GMC Sierra 1500 AT4 to the new Ford Raptor. Now, before we get into this video, I do want to mention, if you want to save time and money the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below. Let's get right into the comparison. So starting things off, under the hood of the Raptor, we have a twin-turbo 3.5-liter V6. It goes through a 10-speed automatic transmission. Power puts are 450 horsepower and then 510 pound-feet of torque. Something I want to mention is the 10-speed with the Raptor is super quick to shift and just really seamless with these shifts as well. Kind of important for this comparison, right? And then popping over to the AT4. This one has the Duramax, but the engine that actually competes against the Raptor is the 6.2-liter V8 that you can get with the AT4. That's good for 420 horsepower and then 460 pound-feet of torque. And then with the 10-speed that's paired to that engine with the GMC, it is kind of more on the smooth side of things. It's not nearly as quick and aggressive as what you have with the Raptor. Now, going to the front end with the Raptor, you guys can see that you've got that accent piece there in the center with the Raptor logo. It's kind of like a little cool little venting piece. It looks great. Got the marker lights there with the daytime running lights that are also finished in orange to match the marker lights. And then you've got the two sets of fog lights. One's tied into the auxiliary switch and the other one is just tied into the regular fog light button. The one that's tied to the auxiliary switch is technically not street legal because it's too bright. Parking sensors at the bottom. You've got the skid plate with the tow hooks. Got the giant Ford logo with the camera between the O and the R, and in normal Raptor fashion, looks really aggressive from a front end perspective. Now going over to the AT4, notice that this kind of has more of like a classy type appearance. So first off, you've got GMC's signature hood there that's flat in the center and then waves off a little bit to the side. But notice just the coloration there on the front grille, and then with the daytime running lights, how they're white. So that it doesn't pop out too much, right? And then same thing with the grille. Just look at the size of the grille, and then again with the trim color, you've got the chrome logo, right? Got the subtle AT4 badge, and notice parking sensors here at the bottom with the fog lights pretty low down on the bumper there. You've got the red tow hooks to signify it's an AT4, and notice that you don't have like a massive skid plate popping out though or anything like that. It just has a normal looking truck bumper from a front end perspective. And then moving back over to the Raptor, we've got 17-inch wheels. This one has the beadlock capable wheels. 35s on this. I picked a 35 package Raptor because I feel like this is more comparable to an AT4 rather than doing a 37 package Raptor. And then here's a quick look at the front suspension. You've got independent front suspension, just like most modern trucks, not all, but most, with the live valve Fox shocks. You can see there with the massive oversized fender flares. They look great though. And then you've got the side steps, the off-road side steps venting there on the side as well. And then you can see that the stance of the truck from the factory, it looks great, right? It's pretty even, pretty level, which means that you don't have to really feel like you need a leveling kit or anything like that, which is great. And then notice with the side of the bed, no graphics or anything like that. This particular Raptor was kept pretty clean from that perspective. You've got, again, the live valve from Fox coil suspension in the back end as well. And then popping over to the AT4 33s. So that's the biggest tire you can get on the AT4. And you can see with the wheel design, again, it's more of like a street design for the wheel. It has more of that off-roader appearance compared to other street wheels, but still overall more of a street design. And then you can see with the front suspension there. Again, independent front suspension with the Sierra, and then notice you got your Duramax turbo diesel badge, and then you've got your AT4 badge. You've got the off-road type side steps just like the Raptor, and then taking a few steps back, you can see the full side profile of the truck. Notice with the fender flares how they kind of give it more of like a boxy, squared off appearance, right? And then notice with the Rancho shocks there in the back end, and then the leaf springs. If you guys are wondering, the Rancho shocks is kind of similar to like Bill Stein's monotube shocks. That's a shock that seems like a lot of people are familiar with. Anyways, popping here to the back of the Raptor, you got the automatic drop down for the tailgate. Notice we have the measuring charts. You've got the LED lights, and then you've got the full power outlet as well. And then you've got the cargo light there at the top. This one doesn't have a spray-in bed liner, but you can add that as an option. And notice here we've got Ford's bed step, and then the tailgate does raise up. So Ford has figured out how to make a heavy tailgate automatically raise up, which is pretty cool. Now finishing things up with the rest of the rear on the Raptor, notice we got the LED taillights here with the giant Ford logo. You got the Raptor badge down below. Parking sensors there with the bumper, and then you can see the exhaust tips. Notice the bumper is shaped to give a better departure angle, but then you have the exhaust tips just below it, so then it's like, we made this cool off-road looking bumper, but then we're just going to put tow hooks and exhaust tips below that so that it completely negates the benefit of it being shaped the way that it is. So anyways, marker lights there in the rear as well. Popping back over to the AT4, you can see we've got the tailgate drop down just like the Raptor. But this one has a bed liner. That's definitely a big plus, having that from the factory. And then you guys can see the LED light there. And then notice with the whole handle for the bed step system, then you got the outlet as well. And then you've got the, again, liner with the AT4 logo there at the back end. And you've got the cargo light there at the top. Now this doesn't automatically raise up, but it does have the multi-pro function, which is pretty cool. So you can see you can set it like that. It's got a weight limit of 375 pounds. And overall, I think it's a great looking system. And, you know, it also is functional, right? But lifting it up, again, you'd have to lift it up yourself. Poor you, right? So it's not like people have been doing that for like half a century with trucks. Anyways, you've got the C-shaped lights here in the back. And then notice the bumper steps as well. We've got parking sensors on the bottom. And then we have the squished exhaust tips. Well, exhaust tip covers, rather. Got the receiver hitch as well. And notice more of a traditional type bumper, AT4 logo. It's not like shaped or anything to be higher with the departure angle. But that'll change for the AT4X. Anyways, popping to the interior here with the Raptor. Notice with the material use, they kind of go for a sportier theme with the materials. They're not using like the nicest, plushest materials with the door panel and all that. But carbon fiber, Bang & Olufsen sound system speaker. And then the seats themselves. So something that I always tell people with the Raptor seats is these leather seats are, you know, the ones to go for most people. And then you guys can see you've got heated seats back there, and then you've got all the outlets, and then under seat storage as well. And then notice those are for the cargo tie downs that go to the bed. And then side steps actually help out with the Raptor quite a bit. You can see there with the headroom. And then notice with the cup holder. And the reason I say they help out is some off-road side steps really don't help out with getting in and out. Like Jeeps, when they have off-road side steps, they don't help out at all. Here's a door panel with the GMC. So notice it's more towards the luxury side of things from a theme perspective. So more leather and just the texturing on it, and then also the brown stitching and piping. And then the same thing here with the back seats, right? You don't have any Alcantara or anything on it. It's just all leather with some brown contrasted stitching, so that, again, it kind of feeds to that luxury theme. But no, it's just as practical from a storage space perspective. You have the dual floor mats that are rubber and cloth, which I think is cool. So like if you do go off-roading, you just take off the cloth insert. Cup holders, and then you got heated seats for the rear, some USBs, some vents. So we're stacking up pretty even with both of the trucks so far. And then you guys can see legroom back there. And then moving from that over to the Raptor. Notice front door panel again. The theme continues here with that kind of sportier design. And then notice here with the window controls, you've got the memory seat function. There's 3 different settings. Again, carbon fiber, blind spot monitoring for the mirror, and then another speaker for the Bang & Olufsen sound system. Got your Ford Performance plaque. And then this does have the speaker in the headrest. You got the Raptor logo. And then it was perforated there. And then you've got the Alcantara inserts on either side, which I think looks really cool, actually. And the leather padding is really comfortable. Like I said, I think most people would prefer to get the leather seats over the blue seats that are in the 37 package. Power adjustable pedals, got the light controls, got the mirror lights as well. Stuff for the outlet, and then the tailgate drop down. Quite a few controls right there. And then notice we've got the steering wheel adjustment, which is power. We've got the giant paddle shifters. And like I said, transmission's super responsive in the Raptor. Going over the door panel here in the AT4, you can see again with the trim pieces and everything, again, goes more with that luxury theme rather than the sporty theme like you have in the Raptor. Got the AT4 badge though, memory seats, blind spot monitoring with the mirror, and then got the Bose sound system. Love the boomerang design with the speaker. AT4 logo, and then you got AT4 in the headrest. And then again with the full leather seat. No Alcantara or anything like that. Got your adjustments on the side of the seat, and then pedal layout down below. And then it's got your light control right there. And then we've got a driveline select and a drive mode select, and then the tow haul mode select kind of right next to that. Both trucks have 4-wheel auto as well as 4-wheel high and 4-wheel low, if you guys are wondering. And then notice with the steering wheel, it's also power adjustable. But popping back into the Raptor, got our cool startup animation. But Going over the steering wheel, so this is specific to the Raptor. You've got the marker at the top. The steering wheel is thicker than a regular F-150 steering wheel so that you get a better grip on it for off-road driving, which this is my favorite steering wheel in a pickup truck, hands down. And then the paddle shifters too. Notice it's got regular cruise control, adaptive cruise control as well. And you've got that new R mode, which is like your custom drive mode basically. So you set it to what you want it to go into, and then you just press the R mode button, and then it'll enter it. So you don't have to like go and customize every little setting every single time you get in the truck. So that's definitely a cool thing they've added to the 22 Raptors. And then you've got our steering mode, select, suspension, exhaust, all that you can customize. Basically, all you really need to know as someone who's looking at a Raptor is while you're on road, you're going to be driving it in normal suspension most of the time, the exhaust in Baja mode, and the steering probably in normal or sport, depending on how much heft you want to it. And then notice Raptor logo there at the bottom. And yeah, definitely a cool looking steering wheel setup. But popping to the gauge cluster, we got this new full digital gauge cluster with the Raptor. Notice the mileage range right there. But yeah, you've got the center screen, which will show you different bits of info on the truck. I typically just have mine to show me fuel economy when I'm driving on road, and then off-road tire pressure, because I'm always freaked out about popping a tire. We've got a bunch of different drive modes. Again, all you really need to know is you're going to do Baja most of the time, rock crawl a little bit, and then on-road, normal mode for most of the time, and then you'll maybe pop into sport mode a little bit. But, if you're actually commuting with the truck and everything, you're not going to be in sport mode all the time because you don't want the, RPMs to be super high. And then notice up here, main functions, camera function, parking assistance, stability control, and then your off-road cruise control, which actually works very well. I've tested it out now. And then here's the camera system, which is amazing on the Raptor. It fills up the whole screen. And you've got a bunch of different camera views here out of pretty much every single angle on the truck. The only thing that the Ford is missing that you guys will see with the GMC is the wheel shots. But other than that, it's a great 360 camera system. Resolution's fantastic. And it just makes it so that parking this truck's a lot easier. And then also off-road, you can see pretty much everything. And then as for the infotainment system, you've got like that little shortcut bar at the bottom. And then notice this one has the Pro Power on board. And then you got the auxiliary screen there off to the side. Response time for the screen is great. It's easy to use. You can slide things from the auxiliary screen over the main screen. And then we've got dual zone climate, heated cooled seats, heated steering wheel. And notice how they changed the climate controls for 22. It's kind of interesting. Got the trailer brake controls, and then you got the drive line select with the drive mode select and the axle locker. Really easy system to use. It's all in the same place. And then notice with the carbon fiber that covers the wireless phone charging tray area. And then we've got some cup holders here. Got the shifter for that 10-speed automatic, which you can shift down. When I say shift down, put the shifter down so you can use the workbench portion of the center console. And then just black center console there in the center for this Raptor package. You can see storage space is pretty good. You got the dual glove box. And notice there, and we'll go over the window sticker a little bit later, but carbon fiber in the front of the top portion of the glove box, and then padding on the dash, similar to what you have in like a Lariat F-150. And then popping up top here, you can see you've got the sunglass holder and then all of the auxiliary switches. So if you add a bunch of auxiliary items to the Raptor, then you've got those switches for that. Power setting window, panoramic sunroof, controls the sunroof, and then you've got the universal garage door opener. And then here's the window sticker for this 22 Raptor. So, the price for a loaded up Raptor has increased a bit since the previous generation. And so, I'm talking about like 35 package to 35 package, because the 37 package is going to be more expensive, right? But yeah, just to load it up 35 package is more expensive. Also notice the axle ratio. With the GMC, we're not going to see it on the window sticker because the window sticker is weird on that. It has an axle ratio of 3.23, whereas the Raptor has an axle ratio of 4.10. 4.10 is not going to be as good from a fuel economy perspective, but it's going to be better for off-road use, right? No, it's total MSRP though, $77,905 for this Raptor. Popping back over to the GMC, we've got this cool like animation. You don't have to sit here and wait for it to go, but it's just something that happens when you close the door. It's pretty cool looking. But you can just pop in and just press the start button if you want, and then it'll just turn right on like normal. But going over the steering wheel, pretty much just normal GMC steering wheel, which looks very nice, frankly. You've got the brown stitching there on the center portion, and then you can see the kind of grayish trim. And then notice the controls for the center stack. Paddle shifters with the radio controls. They didn't go all out with the paddle shifters, they just did regular plastic paddle shifters. then notice the turn signal windshield wiper stock, but nice looking steering wheel overall. And then we've got the full digital gauge cluster here, just like what the Raptor has. And what you guys will notice here is you've got 2 different drive modes. You have your normal and then your off-road. Well, 3 technically, because you have a tow haul mode. And the tow haul mode will turn on the diesel exhaust brake, since this one's a diesel. If you get the 6.2 V8, no diesel exhaust brake because it's gas engine. But as for the rest of the center screen, you've got that little menu that you can scroll through in the center, and then you got the gauges on either side. Similar format to what there is with the Raptor, just different animations, right? But both of them have great resolution. And then you can see here with the infotainment system, notice we pop it into reverse. A really good camera system, just like the Raptor. Resolution's great. Now, the one thing that I like about this camera system over the Raptor camera system is there's just more viewpoints. Like you can see like wheel shots there, which is great for tight parking lots, but then also is great for off-road use so that you don't curb one of your wheels on a rock or something. Well, you curb a wheel on a rock. That's a funny phrase. Anyways, as for the rest of the infotainment system, you can see shortcut bar. You got the main screen right there, and then you have the auxiliary screen off to the side. Apple CarPlay, Android Auto also fit into the screen. So lots of functionality built into it already. And I love the clock on the Sierras. I think the clock looks really nice, actually, especially compared to the Chevy version. And then notice here with the stop-start button, got dual-zone climate controls, heated, cooled seats, just like the Raptor. So, all the normal modern luxury features. And then down below, the main things is, you can turn off the auto stop-start. You got the tailgate drop-down stability control, hill descent control, and then all the windows rolled down at once, which is pretty interesting that they have that function. And notice we've got the shifter for the 10-speed automatic transmission. I like how it feels, just having like an actual shifter, and way easier to use than a column shifter. It does steal a little bit of space though. Trailer brake controls, a couple cup holders. And then moving from that, we've got the whole center console set up, and you guys can see here, good storage space. You got the wireless phone charger inside of that. And then I really like the trim here on the dash. This definitely looks more luxury-like than what you have with the Raptor. You can see it's got like that nice smooth texture. So I think that GM definitely did a great job with the dash here on the new AT4. And then you've got the dual glove box, just like the Raptor. And then again, notice that trim down below again looks really nice from an aesthetic perspective. And yeah, glove box also pretty normal with the texture, no carbon fiber or anything like that, but you get some wood trim in the interior. Because again, AT4, kind of like luxury off-roader. This one does have the camera mirror. Ford doesn't offer that in any of their vehicles yet, which is kind of interesting that they're behind on that. But you can see there, regular roof, no sunroof or anything, power sliding window, darker headliner. Now the sticker price on this one's like $68,000, so there is like a $9,000 price difference between both of the trucks. But obviously there's an equipment difference and everything. First off, I want to talk about the off-road stuff. So with the AT4, we've got 10.9 inches of ground clearance, and then with the Raptor, with 35s, you have 12 inches. With 37s, you have 13.1 inches. So the Raptor, right, bigger tire, has more ground clearance. If we compare it to the AT4X, the AT4X has actually a little bit more ground clearance. It's like in the 11-inch range. And if you put 35s on it, then you'd be similar ground clearance to a Raptor with 35s, actually. So a big part of that ground clearance difference is just tires, frankly. And then if we move from that, right, the Raptor is built for the high-speed Baja stuff. It can do an amazing job from a crawling perspective. I just proved that in a off-road video if you guys want to see that with the ZR2 versus the TRX and the Raptor. So it can crawl, but it is a wide truck, so you're not going to be able to fit in certain situations that you would be able to fit in with the Sierra AT4. The AT4 can do high-speed stuff. I did take an AT4 off-road, and it actually is relatively smooth. It can't handle like massive bumps like the Raptor can handle because it just doesn't have the shocks or suspension for that. It's kind of more about just your, slow, not super slow, but like slower crawling, just kind of like you're just going out and at a leisurely pace. Like the Raptor, think like race car driver off-road, whereas the AT4 think like, yeah, I'm just going to, go and relax and enjoy nature and all that kind of stuff. So it depends on which one you'd want to do from that perspective. Now, from an on-road perspective, this is where things get interesting. So the Raptor definitely, because the wide body and everything, has like a sportier driving feel, whereas the Sierra drives more like a traditional truck. The thing that's surprising is the payload and towing capacity is not all that different. So the Raptor can tow over 8,000 pounds. The Sierra, just over 9,000 pounds. And then payload, the Raptor is a little bit lower. So typically, it depends on what tire you get, but you're right around 1,100 pounds of payload with the Raptor, whereas the Sierra, most of them that I've reviewed seems to be in that like 1,400 pound range, depending on the exact package with the truck, sometimes a little bit higher than that, frankly. So it does have a little bit more payload. So I guess we can see that the AT4 is more practical from a towing and payload perspective. And then from a daily driver perspective with the interior amenities and all of that, I mean, it's just going to depend. Both the trucks are really comfortable. The Raptor seats are, if you get the leather seats in the Raptor, are a little bit more comfortable. If you get the blue seats, like what I have in my truck, those seats are not as comfortable as the Sierra seats, in my opinion, because they're just really hard. But they hold you in place amazingly well, especially when you're going around high-speed corners off-road. So it just depends on what you were going to use the truck for. And so I know this is a little bit of a weird comparison, especially considering the price difference, right? $9,000 price difference. But I know a lot of people, right? They're like, okay, I want a cool off-road truck. What do I get? And so I guess my final kind of opinion on this is the Raptor is going to be the, fun, sporty truck that you are not necessarily going to concede comfort, but you're going to concede a little bit of, on-road capability with certain things because it's so wide and it can't tow as much, doesn't have as much payload. And so but again, it's going to be the, fun, sporty driving experience. Whereas the Sierra is going to be a little bit more of the laid back luxury experience, hence why they have kind of more luxury focused interior, where, on road, you're not going to be trying to go around corners super fast or anything like that. You're just going to be just driving at a leisurely pace. And then same thing off road, right? It's very capable. It'll be able to get up, pretty much anything that a regular person's going to throw at it from an off-road perspective. But again, you're just going to kind of be like leisurely off-roading. So let me know which one you guys would pick.